Okay, we should be back. Should be good to go. We've got two controllers here. We've got split screen. This is Ratchet Deadlocked, New Game Plus. Co-op, technically. But it's just me. Ben's still on the call here.
Hi, I'm back. Can't get rid of me.
Yep. Well, I mean, I tried my best. I've got rid of you to some extent, I guess. But we're pretty much good to go. We do have two players, as you can see. Lag is going to be a concern. There's going to be a lot of looking down. I'm not going to be doing much like actual two controllers at once. It's going to be a lot of putting one controller down and frantically grabbing the next one to try my best to keep up with things. So I'm going to grab another save file that's at boot camp, like this one here. The file setup is pretty much the same, though I've turned off controller vibrations so that they don't make a horrible amount of noise on the desk and fall off. And Ben's going to mostly handle the commentary for this one because I'm just going to play and try to not mess up. There's a lot to juggle in solo co-op. So yeah, thank you very much for putting the donations towards this. Hope you enjoy it. Ben, count us down.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-da.
Okay.
Cool. So, do you want to explain EGS real quick?
Sure.
Or am I meant to be explaining things? I didn't
don't
listen
know.
when you introduced me.
At the bits where I need to concentrate, I'll get you to do things. My camera's the wrong way around. I thought I set this up right.
I guess I'll explain EGS real quick for us anyway. So this is Ratchet Clank Deadlocked. Before you saw us do any percent where we have to, play the entire game. However, in New Game Plus in this game, because the PS3 port is amazing, we can do a load cancel thing where basically we can take a file that's at the end of the game on the last mission and we can load a new file against it and it unlocks all the planets in the menu. It's super complex. There's some YouTube videos on how to do it. It's relatively easy to actually set up. But basically what it lets us do is complete the tutorial level and then immediately go to the last planet of the game. Which is what Dan will be doing here. Which is the Go Station right here. Which basically takes Ratchet & Clank Deadlocked from being an hour something speedrun to, I think, the world record's like 6.5 minutes at this point.
Yeah, something nuts like that. Not with co-op, though.
Yeah, not with co-op. Me and Dan got the co-op world record very recently whilst practicing for this game. But it's not quite as optimal as single player because co-op loses us a lot of time to lag, to suboptimal bot movement because there's only a single player that can do things like hack orbs at a time. As well as there are various points where both players need to click. An interesting difference for co-op versus single player is that it's local co-op, which is why I can't do it with Dan because the Rona. Whilst if the players get too far apart, this countdown timer appears on the screen, which you would have just seen there. Once it counts down to 10, both players die. It'll instantly kill both players, which is, bad. So ideally, you want to keep the two players relatively close to each other. And so that's why Dan has to swap controllers. He can't just abandon player 2 and do it as all as player 1. Another interesting thing to note is that because it's co-op, if one player dies, they don't instantly end the mission. That player has a respawn timer. However, whilst that timer is counting down, we're unable to do some of our core movements, such as hyperstacking. You can't open the pause menu. Thus, you need to think strategically about when other characters are going to die.
I'm about to die here.
Oh no, Dan just demonstrated what happens when the two players get too far apart.
Oh, hey, it completed the mission anyway.
Okay, we take those.
It. Yeah. I forgot that only one player can hold a weapon at a time, and I kept trying to swap to the sniper rifle that player 2 was holding, thinking, why is it not working?
Yeah, and that's something else that comes into play. Only one player can hold a weapon at a time, with the exception of a couple of key places. So in the tutorial mission, because you start the game holding the dual Vipers, both player 1 and player 2 hold the dual Vipers for the first mission of the game. and so optimally you don't want to switch away, because in the very first tutorial mission that we just blasted through, the Jewel Vipers use ricochets off the wall to just quickly clear the room. This ship mission would have some ability to do it slightly differently in co-op if you did true co-op, because it's fake co-op. We just have player 2 spin around.
Pretty much. It's better for player 2 to look upwards so that there's just that little bit less lag with a little bit less stuff on screen. I don't get to use the missiles in my player 1 because the L1 button doesn't do anything. That's player 2's job. But I can't.
Yes, that's.
I can't aim with both of them at once.
Yeah, Dan's good. He's not that good, and so that's another difference that co-op brings, is that in co-op you jointly control the vehicles. One player will drive the vehicle and shoot the quote-unquote primary gun, be it the main blaster of the hover ship or the machine guns of the Landstalker, whilst player 2 controls the missiles. Cool. Again, we're going to go straight back to the central core. Yes.
Yep. Much the same strats, but with the extra sort of piggybacking of the other player to deal with. Even going up here, that's going to put me out of range, and I've got to do something about that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of, with these ones, strategically warping player 2. So whilst player 1 is in the air here, we can't kill player 2 because, again, as I said before, hyperstacking won't work anymore. So we can't just have player 2 be dead to be within range. And if player 2, for instance, hit a teleporter right now, they would teleport. I actually know where they teleport, but they wouldn't teleport to player 1. They'll only teleport to player 1 if player 1 has been on safe ground. So what Dan's going to do here is he's going to clip back inbounds, and then he'll swap controllers to player 2, who will hit these things to teleport over to player 1. Another convenient thing, and I wish we had this in single player, is that because we don't have the combat bots to do things like place bombs for us, both players are able to place the bombs down. So instead of having to, say, bot place a bomb down, wait a period of time for the bot to do an animation, you just press the triangle button, and the bomb will place instantly, and player 2 can move on. However, you still have to wait the time of that animation before the bomb will go off. So we'll probably see it on one of these cores later, that you're just standing around waiting. Optimally, here what we do is player 1 will run ahead and clip through some doors, whilst player 2 stands near the teleporter, trying not to get killed by the Landstalkers. We do this so that we don't have to swap the mines back and forth, because, as we said before, only one player can hold a weapon at a time, which means that for player 1 to be clipping through the door, player 2 can't be clipping through the door. So we want to minimize the number of times where we have to wait, swap over the weapons, and then continue on. So this will be another instance where Dan will position player 1 to clip through the door, and then he'll position player 2 to fall through the floor, and then he'll go for the clip. And then once he gets to the central core, player 2 will die and then respawn back at player 1. There's some real clench moments. I've seen this result in times as low as 1 second to go on the player 2 controller. The cycle on this does align really nicely, but it's always nerve-wracking at the same time. So here we are. We're like 90% of the way through the game. This was the second of the 3 central cores on Deadlock that we have to blow up. Here we come towards our final room, where we do some interesting movement again. We're going to line up player 2 pointing towards this other door, whilst player 1 clips through. We have to stay on this side of the doorway, because if player 2 was any further towards the point where we're going to kill them, it would trigger the tether to start counting down. What's also really interesting is that this is the previous level we were on. In Deadlocked, when you're doing these 3 central cores, when you get to the end of one level, you start the start of the next section is at the end of the old section. And so this is that floor that player 2 died on before that player 2 is now standing directly in front of. So Dan's going to come over there, get past the turret, and then player 2 is going to teleport to them. Again, another one of those sort of clench moments.
Yeah, when the timing is very close, it's better for me to just pause the game, eat a little bit of RTA time loss, just so that I'm not eating away at that, like, 10 seconds I've got.
Yeah. Dan taught himself to do this completely for the memes, because this category has been an absolute meme for the longest time. Me and Dan posted the first ever run on this board. We took like 12 minutes. We took time to choose skins. Then during the Ratchet and Clank sort of relay race that the Discord does, where we sort of compete to put new runs on the boards, a bunch of people came and legitimately ran this category. I believe currently solo co-op is third or on the board.
Yes, it is.
For this category, which is an absolute joke. And for the longest time, it was second place.
Yep.
Was it world record at some point? Did you have solo world
yes,
record?
I did.
Which is absolutely ridiculous. Time
it was to try and prompt someone to do it seriously. And come on.
The fade to black, and that's time. Thank you. There's so much more that you can say about this stupid category. But it's a bit of fun. I'm glad that Dan was able to do it on his own. I didn't even update the estimate on the layout, and we were still under our original 2-player estimate.
What was my time, actually?
Your time was 9:49.
9:49. I'm okay with that.
So that was amazing for solo co-op in this category.
Thank
you, Dan, for doing such a ridiculous thing.
And thank you everyone for donating $400 for that. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you, everyone.
Nice little encore to the rack block.
Dan, do you have any shout-outs real quick before they take us off?
Well, nothing that I've not already shouted out in the first run. Big thanks to Mobius and Muka. Run co-op if you can find someone to do it with you.
Yeah, I just want to quickly shout out the entire Ratchet and Clank Discord.
Yes,
those guys are amazing. We, as a community, have this amazing Discord that has just all of the games, and everyone from all of the games talks to each other, collaborates on strategies. It's a great time and a good place to hang out. It's very welcoming. Currently, we're doing a sort of competition to put more runs on the boards for different games, so you can join teams and help put runs on the board and earn points for your team. So get in there, join in that. It's a fun time. Always happy to see new players join. And with that, we're going to sort of throw back 14k hype. Let's do it, guys. Let's see the world's hardest game.
Let's go.
Let's go.